Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Rob Donaldson, and welcome back to another edition of Rob's Best Bets. And we are once again talking about the NCAA tournament here in this episode. And as you guys can see, whether it's the NIT or the NCAA tournament so far, we have been absolutely cleaning up. Obviously, on the second day of the round of 64, we kind of had a down day. And by kind of had a down day, I mean we lost less than 2 units. We were kind of breaking even in terms of actually the against the spread record. Went 4-4, and unfortunately, the last 3 bets of our day on Xavier, Oklahoma, and Liberty, those dogs kind of, well, they ate shit, unfortunately, and that's just kind of happens. We were riding really high up to that point. New Mexico got it done for us. Colorado State got it done for us, and Robert Morris nearly pulled an outright upset over Alabama. They had a 1-point lead at the 5-minute mark in the second half. That was a really fun game. That was a very easy cover of 22.5 points. And, the NCAA tournament, a lot of people are bringing it up, and it's definitely true. It's running a little bit chalk this year, but hopefully that does lead to a lot of really fun second-round games because, theoretically speaking, if the better teams are advancing or the higher seeds are advancing, we should be getting a lot better games later on in the tournament. And heck, we're previewing part 2 here, or we're talking about our part 2 bets for the round of 32 on Sunday in this video. If you've already checked out, or if you haven't already checked out our Saturday picks, make sure you go and do so. It's the last video on this channel. And I also do have our NIT bets as well posted on Twitter/X at RobDFB. But with all that being said, y'all, let's just go ahead and jump right into these picks. All right, first up, we are taking a look at that UConn-Florida game, the first game of the day on Sunday. And this Florida team really reminds me of the UConn team that we've seen over the past 2 years, just kind of running through the gauntlet, making it look easy, blowing everybody out en route to a championship. And right now, I would say that Florida looks like the best team in the field, maybe along with a Duke, but honestly, Florida over the past 2 months has really been head and shoulders above all of college basketball, in my opinion. And in this game here, I do feel like UConn is just drastically underpowered to take on a Florida team that is a true juggernaut. And for that reason, I am so willing to lay the 9.5 points here for 4 units for our first bet here on Sunday. For pick number 2, we are taking a look at a matchup here between Baylor and Duke. And when you're looking at this matchup here, yes, Duke has looked impressive against kind of the top half of the ACC, as well as Mount St. Mary's in round 1. But as we kind of saw, the ACC is not really a true proving ground. And on the other side of things, Baylor ran the gauntlet in the Big 12, competed against some of the best teams near the back end of the season and did well. And Baylor also has a coaching advantage in this matchup. 10 times out of 10, I am taking Scott Drew over John Shire. And in terms of talent, yeah, Duke has the best player in college basketball, but Baylor has some dudes as well. They have some NBA talent guys who are very green, very young, very inexperienced, but they also have some college-built guys who have, played 4 or 5 years in college basketball and are going to be geared up and ready to go against a team like Duke. And 12 points is very, very egregious. I think that Baylor covers this thing and has a really good chance to win this thing outright. So let's go ahead and take the 12 points here with the Baylor Bears for 3 units. And I'm holding off the money line personally because I have a future bet on them to make the Sweet 16. So if you place that future alongside me, we are not, rebetting the money line. We're essentially using that future as our money line. The money line right now for Baylor individually in this game is about 5-1. Our future is about 10-1. So we are doing really well in that department. And I just say we let it ride for that future bet. But let's go ahead and take the points with Baylor for our second bet here on Sunday. For pick number 3, we are heading out to that Illinois-Kentucky game, and this is poised to be a pretty fun game because both Illinois and Kentucky kind of play that high variance style of ball, and I could totally see 1,000,000 points flying off the board here, or I could see both teams just kind of struggling to make shots, just period, based on how their round one performances went. But I do think that Illinois is the more balanced team. I also think that they've been playing with each other through all the adversity all season long, and I think that does build a lot of team chemistry. I also love that Brad Underwood is the head coach in this matchup, taking on Mark Pope, because Mark Pope has had his issues in this tournament, and Brad Underwood, despite taking a lot of criticism, has been the more proven head coach during his career. And for that reason, let's go ahead and lay the 1 point here with Illinois for 3 units for our third bet here on Sunday. For pick number 4, we are taking a look at a matchup here between Alabama and St. Mary's, and St. Mary's in round 1 narrowly escaped death. They were down 18 points to Vanderbilt, and they were also down double digits in the second half to Vanderbilt as well, and it really took a late surge in them to finally start hitting shots just to actually advance to the round of 32 here against Alabama. And Alabama, in their own right, escaped death against Robert Morris, because Robert Morris was up 1 point at the 5-minute mark in the second half. It really felt like Robert Morris was actually going to pull off something crazy. But kudos to Alabama. They dialed in, they focused in, they got to the free throw line, they started making shots near the end of the game, and it really ended up proving to be the difference. And in this matchup here, I do feel like when you have that scare as a really top-end team, like in Alabama, you can really put it on the next team that you face. And unfortunately for St. Mary's, I just don't think that they have the firepower to hang around in this game. So let's go ahead and lay the 5.5 points here with the Crimson Tide for 2 units for our fourth bet here on Sunday. For pick number 5, we are taking a look at that matchup between Ole Miss and Iowa State. And we are looking at this game here. Both teams in round 1 showed off their defense. Iowa State shut down Lipscomb. Ole Miss made North Carolina's offense in the first half in particular, and also at the back end of the game, look very, very difficult. And when you're looking at this game here in the total of 145.5, I just feel like that's a very, very ambitious. Sure, could both teams get there? Of course, but Iowa State doesn't have Keyshawn Gilbert in the lineup. He's not going to be in the lineup throughout the rest of the tournament. And the guys that they have on the floor, you know, they have some scorers in Curtis Jones and Momcilovic, but Iowa State is going to try to play through their defense, and I do think that Ole Miss is also going to follow suit. So let's go ahead and take the under of 145.5 for 2 units for our fifth bet here on Sunday. All right, for our final bet here on Sunday, we're going to be doing something a little bit different here, a little bit fun. We did it during conference tournament week as well, but let's go ahead and place a 2-leg money line parlay. And the 2 teams I'm taking a look at here are going to be the Arizona Wildcats taking on Oregon, and Florida taking on UConn. I really do feel confident with this pairing. I don't like the number in Arizona laying the 3.5 or the 4.5, because I do think that Dana Altman will find a way to keep it within 1 possession throughout most of the game, but I do think that Arizona has the closers. I think they have the guys to get it done in crunch time. And when you look at Florida, you know, I already highlighted why I like them actually laying the points against UConn, but in the event that there is like a backdoor scenario or something to that effect, I do think that Florida just wins the game outright fairly convincingly, and that does give us a kind of a lessening of the odds when we're talking about a parlay scenario. And for that reason, let's go ahead and place 3 units on this 2-leg moneyline parlay. Minus 113 is the cumulative odd count, and I place that over on BetMGM. But with all that being said, y'all, I appreciate you guys for checking out today's video. I appreciate you guys supporting all of these videos during March Madness, and hopefully we get a more fun kind of round here from the NCAA tournament, but at the very least, hopefully we cover the games that we actually set out to bet. And with all that being said, y'all, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in a future video. Take it easy.